Welcome back. Let's now speak with the founder, Testify Limited, product quality engineering leader, Ms. Ibironke Yekinni, right here in our Lagos studio. Thank you so much, Ms. Yekinni, for coming on the program.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
A lot is happening in the world, whether I want to talk about tariff and that is affecting the global market. I think we're having that dead cat bounce right now that gives investors some level of leg up because the market had actually literally gone down at some point. But you are in the software aspect of all of this and developing technology in that sense to be able to bridge the gap. From what I read about you, and you're not the first we've had other women as well coming in to say, look, there's a lot of gap when it comes to women playing a key role in this space. And we're happy and excited to always bring you people here who are driving that particular space. So first question from me to you is, what is this new motivation really all about beyond closing that gender gap?
Thank you for that. I would say it's more about maximizing the opportunities we have. There are quite a number of opportunities we have, basically in tech skills and being able to deliver solutions. And if we are focusing majorly on male to be able to do the work, what then happens to the women who has the solutions or who have this idea that they could be able to implement? Of course, there are quite a number of solutions that have been built in Africa today, majorly by women, and for the tech ecosystem, from fintech solutions to software engineering solutions to government solutions as well. So I would say behind just closing the gap, it's also about creating more opportunities for Africa to be able to tap into the global market.
So I know that we call him our tech bro. That's Kylie, by the way. He understands a lot about technology. But we're having a conversation yesterday, and one of the things in that back-end conversation we learned is thinking of developing things that is so homegrown that no matter what happens in the world, that we're good in terms of backward integration. Now, for instance, our crude oil, when I have refineries, some level of, we have it on as our next door industry that we can refine things. But when it comes to technology, it looks like a lot is still outside here in terms of servers, in terms of the infrastructure and all of that. And sometimes when we talk about this and say, what if they turn it off on us someday? What are we going to do? All of the things we have been doing is just going to fall flat on its face. Is that something you're also contemplating?
True, but maybe not completely. It's solutions. And we have to agree that people have been an expert in building these things before we wake up at some point. And in course of implementation, there are a number of things to be considered. Level of expertise that is required to build these solutions. Secondly is the cost. Today, if you want to build solutions, especially infrastructure, you most likely want to buy everything in dollars. When you convert that to Naira, you understand what it means already. So when you're trying to now build that by yourself, there's a level of expertise that is expected. The duration is going to take as well to build them. And stability is key, and which is where a lot of conversation around software testing comes in. It's not just about building solutions. If it's to build what we are getting externally and paying for, I'm sure we have fantastic talents within Nigeria that can build it. But it's about scalability, it's about reliability as well, which all of this speaks to the quality assurance of them. So yes, we contemplate about it, but the solution to this is financing them. Most of these solutions that you talked about that we have to tap from externally outside of Nigeria, they are majorly being backed up by their government finances. It's not something private organizations really have that much push to really finance. So as much as startups can push, can build solutions, finance is major key to really make this scale. And that's,
It's very interesting. We can have this conversation all day.
Of course.
And I think it's very important because of where we're at as a nation, right? There's a tendency to want to do what others are doing, just queue behind a certain line. So, for example, we have fintechs, right, which some have described as paytechs, doing certain things. So everybody just started doing payment platform. And you're like, come on, this is not the only solution. This is not even what fintech is all about. It's just a segment of it. And you realize that there are other problems in quote that we don't have solutions to because people are just following, fintech, okay, we had one unicorn, 2 unicorns, let's go there. So this conversation is important to help people begin to see that, wait a minute, there are lots of challenges out there and we can create solutions. But before that, I'm very curious about your tag. You are called Product Quality Engineering Leader. First, I know there's no course like that in school.
Of course.
So what does product quality engineering mean?
Okay. So before I answer that question, I want to go back to what you first mentioned about, it seems everybody's doing the same thing in different styles and fonts and just changing brands. But it's also the market. What is the market requesting for? Right? Nobody wants to be the solution that is just lying there and it's not making the return of investment. It's also about what investors are ready to invest in. If you are bringing a blue ocean idea, for example, today, and you're saying, oh, this idea is going to be, because you have not seen something like that strive before, you might find it very hard to get investors to back up your ideas. So trust me, there are millions of ideas that are just lying low. But because there is no finance to kick it up, it's just there. So you get to say, a lot of people say, you know what, let me go into this fintech that everybody's going into. I can easily get the money, then I can now use it to diversify into other things. So I won't blame them much. Before now, you probably know software testing. And other people call it QA, quality assurance. But the truth is that these are activities that is being done. It doesn't actually speak to the overall of what the role is all about. When it comes to product quality engineering, it speaks to the central of the digital solutions we are building. Because it's not really about developing and writing the code. It's also about how does the user interact with it. How do you manage the feedback that comes with it? How do you ensure that even releasing something that is reliable and trustable to the application, to these users? You see, not just 1, not 2, not 3 times. Most of this fintech will just wake up one day and close up because they have been attacked externally or sometimes even internally as well. And that's majorly because when you drill down, at least to few that I've done my investigation on, they mostly do not even do what we call quality assurance. And we mix it up. There is software testing, there is quality assurance. Well, there are 2 different things. One is more of preventive measure, while the other one is corrective measure.
So which is corrective?
So preventing is quality assurance. You are ensuring that before it gets anywhere, before you even start building the solution, you are ensuring that everything that needs to be checked, talking about compliance, talking about everything is in place. They are building the right way you are supposed to build. You are not thinking about security as the last end of your building. You are taking it from the very beginning. That's quality assurance. Now, when you are built and you're trying to see that, okay, there are no more bugs, or like we call it in the application, then you are not doing software testing execution. Which is corrective. So now there is now still post-deployment testing that you still have to do because by the time you eventually put it, you now realize that, oh, there is an environment that you have been testing all along. It's test environment, but you have gone into the market and you have built this application for iOS users. Maybe the 18 big bros are the ones using the application they have built, but how about the ones still using 8 and 10? And then you start having to be running data scatter. So, but with product quality engineering, it speaks to the fact that you are thinking about the product from not just you want to write the code and build the solution, but you are thinking about it from the user's perspective, from the client's perspective, to the quality of the solutions. And of course, there is engineering that backs up everything there. So it's an all-round thing.
And so you said earlier that there's in fact an abundance of expertise to provide these technological solutions. But you know, the other aspects of the job, quality assurance, software testing, engineering, these fintechs have not done the work to, you know, to make the system feel safe. So where is the expertise is my own question. Okay. If we have not been able to take care of that, those other critical aspects.
Okay, they are in 2 places in the world. The expertise are more towards the builders, the coders, the developers. I mean, if you put up an application today you need a developer on XYZ, trust me, you're going to see tons and thousands of them within the short minute. And then when you put out there and say you want a test engineer, and then it seems like a cricket sound because most time, because our system has also not come to the adoption of quality, we build something and we are live and people are using it. So why should I really bother myself? having to test it. And I mean, we can always be fixing the problem as the people are encountering them. So the system has not yet fully understand the major importance of testing yet. Are people learning the skills? Yes. Do we have a number of skills? Yes, but are they still in Nigeria? Not so much. So most time you see a lot of US company, UK company, just put it out there, I need the software test engineers, and before you know it, they have taken them, right? So there's still a gap even in the number of talent that is needed in that particular market, skills that people can learn, and people can, I've always saying that you don't need to think that tech is all about just developing and writing code. There are so many vast areas in tech that you might not even need to write code, or you might even need to start without writing code and write code later, and which software testing is one of them. So talents are running out of the industry, experts. So you're now seeing people that are not trying to learn afresh. And to catch up from you trying to learn to becoming an expert level, when is the company going to meet up with their targets for the investments to return? So yes, we are training. I'm personally training people. And over the last 6 years, I've trained over 6,000 plus people, but not only in Nigeria, they are generally in US, in Canada, which is mostly remote. And most of them, when they finish learning here, they have the skills. They just go out to where the market is for them. So for now, we are still advocating for more fintechs, for more organizations generally to hire more and maximize the use of them in your solutions.
So let's also talk about, Kyle has mentioned it, that everybody's doing payment system. I like the way you put it in different forms now.
Yeah.
But there is a problem we have on the continent in Nigeria. A few days ago, over 50 persons were killed on the plateau. Yesterday, we had the Borno State governor saying that communities have been taken over, literally saying that the gains we've recorded, we're losing it. So insecurity is a big deal in our country. I don't know what tech people like you will suggest to help in managing insecurity. I'll tell you why. Because sometimes government is so lazy to the point that just to put CCTV camera is a problem. It becomes a political problem. So I'll give you an example. While you were coming here, perhaps we passed through the place called Kara Bridge. I don't think there are CCTVs there. As busy, this is Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, a place prone to accidents and all sorts. Government has not put in, just recently they put lights, not also called CCTV. So what can the technology people do to help government, in case cost is a problem and all of that, to be able to help manage the states of insecurity in our country? Insecurity cannot just go away, but it can be better managed.
The first step would be the more partnership between government and private sectors. Like you had rightly said, to build a solution is not a problem. I still believe we have solid organizations that have the solution that we are even needing, that we don't even need to get outside it to then be asking questions about. We already have them in-house. So we need government partnership to both support the solution in terms of funding and to collaborate with them to implement the solution from within the country rather than going to import those solutions. CCTV is the least of the problem. When you mentioned the security issue, we all know it's everywhere, right? But the question is, if as an individual, as a private organization, you wake up one day and said, I want to put CCTV in this area, you have to pay for that. You can't just wake up one day and decide to implement a solution on a government properties without communicating with them. So the question is, if you have to build a solution to implement for the security of people, but the same people that you're helping has to say no in one way or the other, because if I can put it in my house and I'm fine, but if I have to put it on the government's role, I have to have conversations with them. I have to pay for implementing that solution. Yet there is no partnership in that regard. So I think partnership is the key. If that can be achieved, I believe a lot of problems
because it's quite sad that we have all of these techies in Yaba and across Nigeria. We have NIN, we have BVN, we have all sorts. We have so many subscribers and we're dealing with this issue. And then a simple technology that people have in their homes, like CCTV, government is not thinking of even implementing it. So even let's start from there and then know where we can bootstrap from there. To better welfare. But thank you for coming, Ibironke Yekinni, founder, Testify Limited, product quality engineering leader I like that part, that leader part. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you so much
And we
for
must
having me.
say your outfit looks beautiful.
Thank you.
It's just like you're shining. The morning brief color. Thank you, Kate.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you.